What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 2 of Escape Will Make Me Pod. Today, we discuss the newly revealed Collector's Edition launch date, and we talk a little bit about the upswing that Marathon might be having in the, arena of public discourse. All right, everyone. I'm Skarrow9, your host, joined as always by my two co-hosts, Ryan and Jake. How are you guys doing today?
Surviving.
Good.
Perfect.
Big news day. Weird out of nowhere, seemingly.
Out of nowhere, thanks Xbox, who I can't really remember the last time Xbox leaked a Bungie thing, so that's kind of cool. That's fun.
Yeah, you know the leak's going to happen, but you never know where it's going to come from.
We should start taking bets, I think. I think that would be pretty fun.
I mean, that's like 8-1 Sony every time, but
yeah,
we can do that if you want to.
Yeah. I wanted to point out we got a new sponsor for this episode. New Caloric asked us specifically to tell you guys not to snort the drinkable cheeseburgers. So I think that's a very important thing they wanted us to call attention to. So I just want to do some housekeeping before we got started. Thank you all for the incredible first episode. It did way better analytically than I think any of us thought it was going to do, which is awesome. There was a lot of excitement in the community. I did want to point out that we forgot to thank people for the name. So we got it from Dale Johnson, who works with the Bungie Foundation. They're doing incredible stuff. Turns out Paul Tassi thought of the same thing. So they can fight about who came up with it. But we asked for permission, and now we're using it. So hell yeah. Also, we are now officially on all of your favorite podcast platforms. Apple, Spotify, I think we said Amazon, and something called Pocket Casts. So
a bunch of other ones too. It's not just Pocket Casts, but some person specifically asked about Pocket Casts on Jake's lovely video about the podcast. So shout out to you, friend. It's there. You can find it.
There you go. So anywhere you like your podcasts, what we do ask is if you use any of these platforms, even if you watch the YouTube video, which thank you, hi. Please, if you wouldn't mind, click through and just leave an awesome review. It helps us kind of get discovered in the video game podcast scene. So that would be sick and help the algorithm and stuff.
Also helps us combat some people who maybe have already are mad that we're doing a marathon podcast and give a shit about it. And by shit I mean bad reviews. So without comment. So combat that and help us. Help people
Good
find
stuff.
the show.
Anyways, anything else to touch on, gentlemen, before we jump into it?
No, I just wanted to interrupt you during the intro.
No, that's perfect.
So mission accomplished.
That's great. Thank you guys once again. Really, it was a really great first episode, and we're looking forward to doing more. Today, big news day for Marathon. It seems like it probably wasn't supposed to happen today because around 9 Eastern last night, I started to get some DMs from friends saying March 5th. And I was like, what the hell is happening March 5th? What's going on here? And then I got some screenshots of some very blurry pictures of the Collector's Edition. And I was like, well, this is probably AI. And it wasn't AI. It was real. And the Xbox store a couple of days ago, I guess, had accidentally posted the official launch trailer early, as well as the Collector's Edition trailer early. So pretty cool. But then Bungie, as they usually do, turned around very quickly and put it out officially. What do you gentlemen think? Just a knee-jerk reaction of the trailer? I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
It's
a bombastic showing of the game, I feel like, which was a solid thing to do, I think.
It was I can't believe I'm saying this because I love all the Ben Starr narrated ones. It was nice to have a different tone in terms of the narrative overview. Do we think that was Mida, Jake? I mean, I'm sure you have a better idea.
Yeah, that was Gantry, the Mida representative. Yeah,
fun word.
Do we know for sure if the image of the graffitied up robot is that Gantry, the image we have for him?
Yeah, and that was. Yeah, that was revealed in the Marathon Vidoc when they were showing all the faction representatives. He's in there as well.
Yeah.
I gotta be careful.
Yeah.
I can't show my hand. I gotta ask questions that I know the answers to.
NDA, I think. NDA, we're good.
Yeah. Do we know about this?
I really do like them kind of showing different parts of the Marathon universe, and I think the factions are going to be some of the strongest like community tethers with Marathon, and so I think it's a really good idea to get all of them involved. In the Discord this week, we saw they finally gave an Arachne role, and it has been blowing up. People love it. It's pretty great because yeah, so there's in the Discord, the community Discord, the official one, you can pick what faction you're in. Arachne wasn't one of these until like yesterday or 2 days ago. And the only way to become an Arachne member is to be nominated by an existing Arachne member. And every Arachne member gets 4 people they can nominate. And so it is, the Marathon Discord is currently just a sea of red Arachne people spamming memes and skinning people or threatening to skin people. It's pretty awesome.
Much like a real cult, I think, at this point. So it's really living up to its name.
That's actually so sick. Yeah, classically, you only get 4 invites if you want to join like Heaven's Gate and stuff. They're very selective.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if eventually, relatively soon in the marketing, we hear more from Arachne because it is very clearly becoming a fan favorite. So, pretty cool.
Yeah, do you think that's like what's happening here? Do you think like did we get a Mida focused trailer and we're going to get different faction focused ones, or is it just that like Mida is the most fuck the UESC of the corporations, and so they're going to be like the most, other than the starting one that I can't believe I'm being such a casual. Can't remember the baseline. CyberArachne. God, thank you. Other than like CyberArachne is going to be seemingly like, I don't know if I would say Mida is the most friendly, but I think it's like the most relatable to the player base.
Yeah, I think Mida, and actually similarly, Arachne finds themselves in a very unique position because they're not like a giant corporation, right? Like they are, of the 6 that we're interacting with that are not UESC, they are the 2 kind of oddballs. And I think that makes them very easy kind of narrative points or reliable-ish narrators. So yeah.
And another note is that all of the ARGs kind of have almost like come from the perspective of Mida, or Mida has been like the driving force for the actions within the ARGs. It felt like starting line, I think is what they referred to the 2023 ARG, and at least back in April 2025, that was, Mida releasing this zine and getting hold of the Project Goliath information. Then obviously all the stuff that happened back in April was we're hacking into the system. We're revealing what these megacorps are doing. So to see that kind of follow through to something that's probably going to hit a much larger portion of people is cool to see, because now they get all this other stuff to go back and check out as well.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised, like post-launch, as people start to lean into the PvP, if Arachne starts making appearances in some of these things, because I think people are really going to lean into it quite a bit. Yeah, so I thought the trailer was good. It had some of that classic Bungie magic, like at the beginning where it's like Tau City is dying, and then the lightning hits and like the whole color palette shifts. Like, so good, so good. And I will say one thing I want to call out, because I was a huge like critic of it very publicly with the original reveal. I really appreciate how the gameplay aspects of the trailers nowadays feel a lot more natural. Like no one's walking around unscoped. Or there's like one clip, but it's like very minor. Like people are missing shots. People are kind of zoom in all over the place with where they're looking. Like it feels very realistic in a good and like relatable way. So I think this last batch of trailers has been phenomenal. So,
well, to that point, like the thing that struck me immediately when watching it, like the first time, is that I like about it the most is like when the fight, or like when the perspective starts, is that like slow moving video game trailer perspective with like the moody music and the rain and everything in Outpost. There's like a fight that just like naturally breaks out in the distance, as like that you are or that the player trailer perspective is like a unknowing onlooker of, and that is so like core to the experience of playing the game, at least in my experience, at least in the April update. For the
allegedly,
game, so, like,
I heard from a friend.
Allegedly, yeah. I don't think that's the right use of that, but it's nice to like for them to showcase like they do a really good job of nailing that feeling of like there's this brief moment where you feel like you're an onlooker on some violence that's happening in the future, and you can feel like you can see the wheels turning in the player perspective's head of like, am I going to engage? Am I going to take this moment to reveal myself, or am I going to go in there and rat afterwards? And then you immediately run into a locust in the doorway to the right, and I think it does like a really
Oh, what?
I'm not going to do it. I knew when I said it, and I'm not going to change it. You can't make me.
He just leaked the
This is the
seventh runner, I
unofficial
guess.
podcast. This is the unofficial podcast. If only, and it will stay that way forever because I'm never going to call them by their right names. If Elias Tufax, the voice of Void, can tweet today that he's going to call him Void forever, so can I. So
that's a good point. Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. But they capture that idea really successfully, and that is like it makes the world seem very dangerous immediately, and that's how it feels like when you're doing it. Where it goes immediately from like, oh, I'm being the sneak to I've been caught out and my run's over. I think like that initial. There's some really cool action in there, and like obviously every shot of the compiler is the coolest thing to ever see in a trailer. But that like initial 15 seconds from calm, moody onlooker to getting got is like I think very successful in just setting the tone for the rest of the trailer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any thoughts, Jake?
Yeah, I just think moving away from that kind of machinima style, maybe you would say, for that initial gameplay reveal trailer, I think it was a good call. And I think this is all indicative of like some pretty direct response to the feedback that they got last April, especially around like that kind of like event being one of the main things they showed, and then the live stream and some of the format like issues, I guess, that people had with how it was presented then. So it seems like they've really taken that to heart. And
Yeah.
with all the changes they made, it seemed very very much a a call and response between the player base and the developers, which I think is a good sign for a live service game. So
Yeah, for sure. We also got the release date March 5th, so we're like 6.5 weeks away.
yeah,
Comes out on a Thursday, like you would expect.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm excited. This is gonna be. I imagine it's gonna be a hectic lead up to that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I don't think there's any reality where we're not getting something. I wouldn't say this. I know there's nothing as big as like with a release date ever again, but
Mhm.
I think we're gonna get something pretty sizable every week leading up to launch, and I can't imagine they can afford to skip any weeks. There's only 6 left. Like
yeah.
we're gonna get at least another Vidoc, like for sure, like one of those developer insights. I wouldn't be surprised
Yeah.
if we got like 2 more of those. So like, surely there's more lore stuff coming. Like
Yeah. On
there's
on
plenty to
Reddit,
talk about.
the official marathon account also mentions some sort of roadmap coming pre-launch as well. So
hmm
It's like trigger a fan base in one word.
yeah, well,
If the marathon roadmap comes
th-
out before the Destiny one, people are gonna lose
I
their fucking
know.
minds.
I think that would be a mistake. Like I am like fully expecting some sort of like state of Bungie thing coming at some point.
Yes.
New studio head, new game. Destiny 2's in a very weird tumultuous state. So I think it would personally be a mistake not to release all of that pre-marathon, but
I agree.
there's also a world where maybe they don't want to distract from marathon marketing too much. So it's like it's hard. I don't have the answers. But I would
Not to detour too entirely
yeah
here, but I think it's worth talking about all of Bungie at this moment. But it's like
yeah
I feel like we've gotten state of the games in February in the past, and I would expect
yep
something similar here.
yeah
People,
the final shape one I think happened
mhm,
in
yep,
February. Yeah.
and people I think underestimate how long those things take to put together because of stuff like translations, releasing them in different languages, getting them
Mm,
to different community teams, getting them run through like Bungie's not an independent studio anymore. And even when they were very careful about putting stuff out like that. So
yeah.
that stuff takes a lot of time. I think February makes a lot of sense. And I would fully expect talks about what's happening with Marathon going forward and like what the seasonal cadence is going to look like and what people can expect from the game going forward. Like we don't really know much about like what content is like releases are going to look like other than
Yeah.
presumably we're going to get new seasons, and we can guess like probably new maps, probably new contracts, probably new enemies. But like, is there ever going to be paid DLC? We don't know. Like they
So
haven't talked
like
about any of that
to
yet. So
that point, like if you look at the description of the collector's edition or the sorry, just the base game, it says this gets you all of the content and events this year is specifically what
yes,
it
that's always
says.
been that's been the language that they've had since I
Yeah.
think last April. Because I remember people looking at that and being like, "The fuck does that mean?"
Yeah, so is this I expect commentary like if year 2 costs
Yes.
another $20-$40, I expect commentary on that pre-launch and I
Oh
think
yeah.
they should talk about that pre-launch. So,
Yep. Oh, I agree. Um, I think we'll see. I mean, like Tassie was reporting it. Uh, I like was saying it to you and other people for a couple of weeks, but Tassie reported that he's heard from internally that the Destiny mid-season update is going to get delayed.
mhm.
And obviously we all pretty much know that the next expansion is getting delayed until the fall. I would assume till the fall. I don't know anything. But I would expect that to get announced as well. I I'm really torn on whether or not they reveal that they're working on the future of Destiny right now. I would I'm really 50-50 on whether or not we hear the words Destiny 3 in a thing like this, even though it's years and years away off. But
I'm not even convinced it'll ever exist, to be fair. Like
I think it's definitely being worked on. I don't think it's I agree with you that like a lot can happen between now and a launch for it,
yeah.
but it's definitely being I would be shocked if it wasn't being worked on. I don't know, but I would be very surprised.
Mm,
And it would be a thing that would make the community happy. So I think it's more of a conversation of can they convince Sony to have that conversation, because if they announce that they're doing it and then it gets canceled, that looks bad
yeah.
on Sony. So like there's a lot that needs to be discussed in a roadmap thing like that. And I think it's the type of thing that they could navigate quite well by announcing some stuff that people are excited about, announcing the future of what Destiny is looking like, announcing like a future for Marathon where things aren't like, hey, we're gonna ask you to spend money to continue playing the game every year.
Mm,
There's a lot they could do right that would really like I think lift people's spirits and going into Marathon. I think you can even convince people that the delay for Shadow and Order is a good thing. Um, if you do it right. And then also there's a lot of different fumbling opportunities in that as well, right before launch. So I would hope
yeah.
that they would get it out earlier in February than later, because the closer they get it to long release date, if they have bad news on any fronts, it's gonna sour things for people who have been mad at Marathon for existing, for hurting Destiny for years. So it's a tightrope. Um, but I think they have to get both out by March
Yeah.
or by
Uh
the middle of February.
Jake, here's a question for you. We have confirmation that there is going to be an open beta or open playtest weekend. When do you think that's going to happen?
It has to be the week before, right?
You
I
think
mean,
it's the direct week before?
I think it's just the immediacy of kind of riding that high into it. Also, they've had such an extensive testing period that they've been pretty vocal about over the
Hmm.
summer and even the fall. They ran a 30-day play test and they paid people for it. So, my assumption would be that this open weekend probably isn't going to be so much like a stress test or a bug fix thing, which I mean, I'm sure like maybe something like that will come out of it. Not that I know the process or anything, but I would imagine they would want it just kind of backed up right to it. So people are playing and they're like riding the hype of, oh man, I wish I could log back in today. Screw it. I'll just pick it up and I'll play it next week. At least that's what I would want. Like if I was someone who was on the fence, I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to have like the Arc Raiders thing where I played the last tech test a few months before and then I had to wait all that time. I think that could be a good strategy. It was a good strategy, I think, in that scenario because it built this hype over a long period. But Marathon obviously has the baggage of everything that's just happened over the past few months. So I kind of think something where it's like, let people be impressed with the product and then let people go right into, picking it up and playing.
Yeah. Okay, so the next thing we got was a glimpse at the collector's edition, the official reveal there. Pretty sick. I mean, a thief statue in a base of resin with the OG runner in the water. By the way,
The Blue Fork Runner, yes.
the blue.
Yes.
That was the official name.
not the official name, but the very first thing that we got after over a year and a half of waiting was the helmet in the what's the Destiny Halloween event? It's like
Festival of the Lost.
Festival
Festival of the
Lost.
Lost. We
Yeah.
got the runner helmet. That was the first official piece of news that we got from Bungie after considerable time. So
Yeah.
the blue fork on that helmet holds a special place
I
in a lot of
see.
our hearts.
Didn't a lot of those runners
Mm.
have like White Rabbit and like placeholder
They did
names?
have names. Yeah, so White Rabbit was the one with the sniper rifle, and then Brill and Patch were in the back. In the 2023 ARG, the Traxxas board of directors chat room had a little bit of conversation about employing them and maybe
Okay.
how their kind of tenacity could be a problem, perhaps, or
Yeah. Did
they
this
give
one have a
money, they'll
name?
work for you. I don't believe that there was an official name given to the UESC runner, so I think
Okay.
Blue Fork runner maybe might be as close.
Blue
as we
Fork works.
get.
I'll take
Do
it.
you? This is maybe this is a team. Do you have an idea of what the relationship is between that initial Blue Fork runner and Recon? Because they have the exact same. Blackbird has the same UESC like square patch
Yeah. And the
on her
shape of the
shoulder, but it's like
helmet's
Yeah.
crossed out
almost the
by
same
tape. And yeah,
too.
the shape of the helmet's very similar, but it's spray painted pink instead of like the black and green motif that the Blackbird uses. Like it seems like
Yeah.
almost like a converted version of that shell because Blackbird has like graffiti of removing any kind of UESC affiliation
Yeah.
from her shell. Do you have any kind of idea what the relationship is to that is, or do we not know?
We don't have anything like directly correlating the two, but especially with the introduction of like these personality matrices, kind of
Mm-hmm.
shifting your consciousness as you go into these shells, it could be interesting to see if potentially that was the actual construct or personality that now has moved over to running the Blackbird shell and saying
Yeah.
fuck the UESC. That
Yeah.
would be really cool to see, but we don't really have any
Yeah.
details about the UESC runners themselves.
Yeah.
We've seen a few things kind of about the security force that they have on Tau Ceti, but no
Mhm.
details about the UESC runners. And people really love that initial reveal trailer. That's probably still right the most viewed trailer
Oh yeah.
attached to the game, possibly.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be
It was at
surprised
a
if
Sony
they
event.
wanted to pull back something like yeah.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to tie something back to that, which could be cool.
And it's kind of the same thing. Like White Rabbit seems to have been kind of through the course of development turned into Thief, in my opinion. Like they're very similar. That
Yes.
and I wouldn't be so if we don't get like alternate versions or like subs because the way that they're doing shells now is all over the place, and we have yet to have like an official confirmation. But people are kind of like saying it might be like make and model type of thing, and so we might get like more thieves in the future. Is kind of like the is the prediction if you look at based off of the runner Vidoc and then the breakdown they gave after. And so like if those don't end up being like new versions of those runners, I don't think there's a world where they don't become skins for those runners, right? Like people are very very attached to them, and I think it would be some way or another. I think it would be very smart for Bungie to make sure that they become playable in some way. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think the statue looks sick, by the way. Or do you have something else to say? Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say that I just as a tangent in memory, reminding myself that that trailer was at a Sony event when they first revealed it in 2023. We probably will have another Sony event here before March 5th for Sony's various games leading up, or at least I imagine we have one coming up in the future. So that is probably another peg where I would very much expect a big marathon trailer to show up.
I bet that's where
like
the
that.
open weekend gets announced.
I would also not be surprised if it's especially if it's like on a Thursday or something, download and play right now, and play till Monday or Tuesday. I think that I would very much see a possibility where that would be, and I think that is the scenario where they would not do it the weekend before, where it's like, you can do the weekend before, or you can do the playtest if it is available right now to a huge audience of people that are already locked in because they want to see what's coming with God of War or whatever. God, I hope there's something from that word. But yeah, I think that's going to be I would be pretty surprised if there's not something like that in the next 6 weeks.
Yeah. Agreed. And I hope so, because it's like I like Bungie having like autonomy in the marketing stuff, but there's only so much reach they have. Like Sony will always have a wider reach than them.
Yes.
and a very different audience too, right? And I always enjoy seeing that aspect of things as well. So
Yeah. Not to volley right back, but like in we'll talk about this a little bit later when we talk about like sentiment changing, but something that I've been trying to do, which not that this is a good barometer because it's filled with bots and Nazis, but on Twitter when I try to see like when somebody posts, you guys knew where that was going.
Yeah.
When I see the trailers get posted by like the Bungie by like Marathon and then the Bungie count and then Sony and then like the Game Awards will share stuff a lot of times. I try to like look at each individual group and hierarchy and see what do the initial responses look like under those. And like because the Bungie ones were like we were like deep in the bad on all of them, and
yeah,
that's changed over time. But as you go further and further up the wider like gaming ladder and you get to stuff like Sony and the Game Awards, there are a lot more people who don't know what the game is, or a lot more people who are like more skeptical. So I think Sony getting this out there and like at a big event where people have to watch it because they're already locked in, I think is like absolutely has to happen.
mm-hmm.
Like if there isn't any kind of Sony event between now and then, like that's a I don't think that's good for the
Yeah,
game. I think that's bad. The game needs something hype drawing like that
yeah,
at a event that is beyond the realm of the people who are already paying attention to it.
yeah. I guess circling back around, collector's edition, pretty sick.
Sorry. Yeah.
I think it's 170 for the collector's edition, 230 if you get it in the deluxe edition at the same time.
Mhm.
Um, statue, little wormy boy, couple of postcards, and an iron on patch. But obviously the or did I say trophy? The statue, whatever the hell I said, I don't remember. The statue with the LED lights and the epoxy resin base, like really freaking nice. I like it. Do you guys like it? What do you think?
Yeah.
I
And I think
mean,
even attached to it, they had this really cool little kind of codex style entry about Thief that was sick. The presentation of it's great. And it almost, it's almost what you're envisioning in your mind, one of these birthing pods looking like. The
Yeah,
holographic front is sick. Yeah. In terms of
oh my
like
god,
shit
yeah.
to spend a lot of money on, it's pretty
yeah.
cool.
I like how as you open it, it's like the layers of the runner being built.
Yeah.
So
Right?
cool.
So good. Very clever.
The Bungie's like boxing and just their collector's editions in general are always like the periphery stuff is always the stuff that Bungie has done very well and very rarely ever falters on, like the marketing machine that everyone always talks about.
Yeah.
So like Marathon could have never had a turnaround moment, and the collector's edition was still gonna be sick. So like you know,
Yeah.
um, it meets my expectations in a way where I'm like, yep, that's packaged very well and looks dope, and the stuff inside of it looks sick. So, and I'm sure it'll be of high quality as the stuff usually is. So, but at
Yeah.
this point, like I expect that from Bungie, not to be like overly spoiled about it, but like
Yeah.
they've been doing that for a long time. It's kind of what they do.
I'm sick. I hope it's successful and they make little statues of the other characters too, because I think that'd be
Yeah,
pretty sick.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I do think
Even a Black statue.
I think Thief is a pretty safe choice, to be honest, for the
Yeah.
current state of Twitter. I think there would have been problems if they went with Glitch or the other characters, but sorry, yeah, Vandal. But I like Thief. I think it's a great looking statue, and I'm excited to get my hands on it for sure. One thing I'm
I still think
really,
Thief is going to become the most hated character in the game
yeah,
within
for
like a
sure.
month. So, so maybe people are going to start breaking their statues down. But sorry, I
I
interrupted you.
No, you're fine. I'm just curious, like for a long, well, like uh every Destiny Collector's Edition has a puzzle in it, and I'm curious to see if that carries over to the Marathon ones as well. So we'll see. We'll see.
How could it
What's
not? With
Yeah,
how
I know,
puzzly they've
right?
been, how could
Yeah,
it
It's
right.
not?
it's way more appropriate for the vibe. I'm worried my cat's gonna start begging to leave the room here soon, so and we'll see. Next thing we got the huge list of voice actors. I'm really bad at names and especially of more like animation or voice acting style stuff. So I know there were a couple notable
Yeah, I need to
ones
pull it up.
here. Yeah, Ben Starr,
Yeah.
uh,
Ben Starr, Roger Clark,
Jennifer.
Jennifer English, is that her last name?
English, yes,
Yes,
from
Jennifer
Baldur's
English.
Gate and Obscura.
And she's every game she's been in has been Game of the
Claire
Year,
Obscura.
I think.
Yeah.
Elder Reign, Claire Obscura, and Baldur's Gate, possibly. I think were the
Let's
three.
keep it going. Hey, Shroud,
Yeah.
take your Arc Raiders
Yeah.
campaign and bring it over here, buddy.
Bring it over,
Yeah, no. At this point, with Shroud's record on that, I would like him to stay away.
Yeah. But yeah, huge list. It seems like they spared no expense on getting high quality talent, which is taking a pretty significant stand in the age of maybe competitors that use other techniques.
I was going to say that as well.
Yeah, very yeah, if you probably have a better way of phrasing it if you want to expand it on it.
I feel like I don't think this is I wonder if it had not become a conversation if we get a very cool little vignette trailer of them doing all the actors' names and being like, look at all the great actors you got in this. If that has not become a talking point, because I mean, for anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about, Embark, the people who make Arc Raiders and also the finals, are pretty well known on their stance of using AI voice actors.
Specifically, like text to speech stuff. I think that's an important distinction, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, and also, like, as far as I understand it, and Jake, I know you're a lot more plugged into Arc Raiders than I am, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I think, as far as I understand it, that they also have AI situations where they will pay an actor for, like, the likeness of their voice, and then just, like, instead of having to go record new things, they will basically just create, like, a voice pack for the actor.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and go out on a limb and say I think that shit sucks. I think that's, like, and I find it personally deeply, like, unethical. I think the voice pack thing specifically, something that people try to hide behind, is being like, well, their actors are getting paid. It's like, yeah, but they're also like, I don't think practices that particularly are designed to prey on younger actors that are looking for gigs to be like, well, if you just sell us your voice, we'll give you money and then never have to pay them again, is a bad practice. I think it's gross. I really dislike it. So it is hard for me, from my perspective, as somebody who does not like that Embark does that, and it's the thing I dislike about the studio's general practices. It's hard not to see this as a bit of like, we have voice actors, we pay people.
We have good voice actors. We have huge voice actors.
Yeah. I mean, some people that we like scan by quickly that I've just like noticed off the top, who's like Darren DePaul, who's like Talus in Destiny, and also like in a bunch of other things. He's Reinhardt in Overwatch. I love him like deeply. Morla, who's Eris in Destiny and has been forever. She's awesome. Neil Newon, who's Asterion in Baldur's Gate 3. Like, bunch of people in like Elias Tufax is obviously Void, and he's like Adam Jensen. He's the voice director for the game as well. Like,
he's been super active on Twitter too. It's been fun to watch.
Yes, very active on Twitter for Marathon and everything. So like, them coming out with this really stacked cast of like voice acting royalty. I mean, like, notably there's no like Troy Baker or Nolan in this one yet, but it's hard not to look at that and feel like it's at the very least, like what you said, an important stand against the way things are moving. And also, like, Marathon and Arc Raiders have been throwing some slings at each other. I think understandably, I don't really think they're competing as much as some people think they are, but
yeah,
they throw some slings at each other. It's hard not to see this as a little bit of Marathon of Bungie flexing a little bit on something that has been controversial for the biggest game of like one of the biggest games in a long time.
If they have any chance to take back or kind of retaliate against like the Art Raiders thing at all, this is how they do it, right? Like hey, we fixed our problems, you haven't, type of thing. And so it's it's just interesting to see. And I agree. Like, I think all these people are employed and do this no matter what. But the fact they made it like a marketing point and put out like the list of names, I think that is very kind of like tongue in cheek.
Yes, to be clear, I do not think that they hired all these people and spent all the money on these great actors because of the Arc Raiders thing. I think they're publicizing it very openly because of the controversy. They're killing two birds with one stone, but I think all of these very talented actors would very much be in this game, even if that had never happened. Yeah, just that's I did not think about that. That might sound like that. So thank you.
Yeah, I just
To be very clear.
yeah. And then the next thing, there were some light ARG things this morning. Nothing crazy, but let's just say like the Discord started being a little more active again. Jake, you want to take the lead on this stuff?
Yeah, so I think this you might know the starting point kind of stuff a little bit better, but in the description of the pre-order release date trailer that they put out, there was a little DAC or a contract
Contract
ID
code, yeah.
included in there. So if you were a part of the ARG from April, we had to go into the community Discord when they launched the official Discord, and they set up this really cool system with a leaderboard where people would go through and they're finding these codes, and then you redeem the codes on the Discord, and you get to accomplish a contract, kind of like a little in-universe nod to the different factions. You're achieving certain goals, and then that would, I think that ultimately led to us getting our data access cards, which allowed us to further progress the ARG and unlock the save the date or gameplay reveal save the date trailer, which obviously gave us the wonderful Fellini Bingus, I think is probably the appropriate term. And so today, updated new contracts got posted, and so in that description, that led to one, and then people started to investigate other places. I think one came from the Steam page, one came from the old Vidoc. And then maybe there was one inside of the new website that launched. Yeah, one of the contracts also had a really cool website, Tauseti. I'm drawing a
World.
blank. Tauseti.world, which has a 3D perspective of the initial three maps, perimeter, dire marsh, and outpost. So you can like scroll through there. It has little tidbits you can click on at different POIs that give little contextual information about them. Seems like there's probably more to that as well.
Yeah, I think there'll
But
be
yeah, I
more to
think
that site. And one thing that's really cool, it's like when you click on the maps, it's like you are doing
mhm.
like almost like a TTRPG overview
Yeah.
of a run in progress. So you can see
Mhm.
like different characters and enemies moving around the board and like dying or exfilling and
Yeah.
stuff. It's really quite cool. Right now it seems to fill mostly the purposes of like teasing Outpost as well as giving you
Mhm.
some more information about like specific lore things on Perimeter and Dire Marsh.
Yeah.
I would be shocked if this doesn't get turned into something larger as the marketing continues. Like clearly a lot of work went into this site, and I don't think it's like a throwaway as in like, hey, a couple dozen thousand people are going to look at like the structure of our maps for some Discord
Yeah.
quests. Like I think something larger is going to happen on these sites. It just doesn't appear to be currently live. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and another thing to tie into is that doing these contracts raise the level of your data access card from the last ARG
yeah,
and all of the websites, herosilence.com, the Traxxas.global, UESC.io, which were all, part of the first two ARGs, have a new splash screen when you go there. That
yeah,
kind of makes it seem like it's been hacked, taken down, or disrupted in some way from the lovable Mida. So,
yeah.
yeah, I definitely think something's around the corner. I almost wonder if because they were forced in this position of having to put the trailer out today because of the leak and stuff, that maybe we'll get something crazy tomorrow. But I do think it might be one of these slow rollout things
Yeah.
that kind of plays out over the next 45 days as well.
Yeah, I'd be kind of surprised if we didn't get like little additions every week and maybe
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
small things we can do to unlock extra trailers or something. But it it's cool that they are continuing on with the Discord. Like the Discord is huge. I didn't
Hmm.
realize this until today, but like 300 and something thousand people in a Discord
Yeah.
server
Yeah.
is ridiculous. Um, and it's cool that they are continually updating tools and stuff, and hopefully that is maintained post launch too. I think it is
Yeah.
very critical for a game like this to instill like a sense of community and always have those kind of like self feeding and maintaining meme cycles and stuff. And I think it's a great resource that they have. And I hope they continue to kind of leverage that because it's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I look forward to following along with an ARG. Like that's been something that I have kind of missed out on
Hmm.
because like I mean I think I talked about it a little bit last week, but like before I went and played it in April, maybe I didn't talk about this. I was like fully very much thinking like this isn't gonna be a game for me. I think I'm done with PvP stuff at this stage of my life. I don't like the Crucible despite thousands of hours in Destiny and never really have. And so I was like, I kind of wasn't paying that close of attention during the super early ones, and then was busy during like the other stuff. So I'm like actively looking forward to following along. I would love to, if we get the time, either between the next 6 weeks, which I'm skeptical about, or between maybe between the seasons when things are slow. I would love to do a run through with you guys of the old ARGs. Like
Yeah.
talking about it, because like I would love to hear
Yeah.
about it from some of the people that were like very actively solving it, because I know you guys were way into it, and they seem so cool from afar, and I've like
Mhm.
watched your recap videos and everything. But I that's to me is like a topic that I would love to tackle at some point, because
Yeah,
It,
that
see
could be a
Bunny nails it.
yeah.
fun
Well, also the
episode topic at some point.
Hall of Fame marathon moment will be when Skarrow put in the website to bring up the original Vidoc in
Yeah.
2023. That's a
I
Hall of
was,
Fame marathon moment. That's pretty hype. Going silent, locking in, and then typing
yeah.
out, oh,
I
I
was
got
just
it, I solved it.
yeah, that's still a very surreal moment. It's pretty rare you get to be the person to click the button, right? And it was just a whim that I had. It just worked. It was cool that it worked. But yeah, um, yeah, these ARGs are sick, and I think like especially once we're through whatever they have planned for post launch or like pre-launch, and then there's obviously going to be some stuff with like cryo, right? So it's like it would be cool to kind of do a run through of like, man, what a incredible marketing run this had in terms of like community engagement. I think that could be a really fun.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Oh yeah, and then the last thing that they announced today, which I didn't expect, but I don't know why I didn't expect this. They announced an official Sony PS5 controller and headset that are marathon themed. They're pretty cool, I guess. I'm a mouse and keyboard player. I love when they team up with SteelSeries. I hope they do something like that. But for the controller peeps out there, it looks pretty sick.
I would never use that controller to play marathon, but I would use it to play all the other stuff I play on my PlayStation. And I don't. I'm so set about it because I've already bought so many like custom PlayStation controllers, and also like I'm poor now, so like I'm I'm just like looking at that kind of thing, being like, I can't drop $70 on that thing, but
Hey
it
Sony, we'll
looks
do an
nice, man.
unboxing. Send us a couple review samples.
Yeah,
We'll unbox.
is that how that works? Is that how YouTube works? Then it's content, and then I can be
No,
like,
not typically.
write this
That
off on my
never
taxes.
works. No. Well,
Okay.
yeah, it's usually a tax thing, but it's just nicer if they send you stuff. But usually asking for it in a video like doesn't work. So
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not asking for it. I'm looking at it and being like, how do I ask my wife for this? I don't know if I can.
yeah,
So, but it's a good looking controller. And I have a 3-year-old, so I've gone through too many controllers. Unfortunately, in this cycle of PlayStation, so I could use it, but it's nice looking. It's like white. It's got that with like the nice marathon green on it, and a bunch of the
yeah,
technical like almost like 3D printer ass text on it
yeah.
that marathon has everywhere.
Looks sick. I
Yeah.
don't. I'm pretty excited. I hope they do. I hate to be this guy, but man, I hope they do so many cool physical items for this
Science
game.
stuff, yeah.
I hate being the guy that's like I want to consume, but man, especially in a game like
Yeah,
Marathon, which is like but
yeah. Like we all love the style, right? Like, are we all
yeah,
style lovers? I'm always so weirded out
yeah,
when people don't love the style of marathon.
Yeah.
yeah.
I th-
I don't know how you really I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I love it. I think it's sick. I think there's so much like right there. That is a new caloric beer can that I got while I was at Bungie. It's fucking
Dope.
sick, and it's I love stuff like that. Like I think
Yeah.
I'm a stuff lover, so I would I hope they do cool stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I was watching like Cross watch like as to Cross watch the video, and he was like, yeah, I still don't love the style for it. And I'm like, why? That's wild to me. I mean, like, to
Yeah,
each their own. Art's very subjective, but to me, it's like I think it's one of just the more striking things I've seen in the gaming space in the time that I've been covering it. And so it's like to me, it's like any and all things that they want to make like manifest and real in the world, I will be like,
yeah,
well, that would be cool if I
Yeah,
if
it's
if my website hadn't
super.
exploded and I hadn't had to go off on my own and be independent, this would be very cool. I'd be very excited about it. And now I can just
Yeah,
look from a distance and add it to my eBay list in 20 years.
it is super refreshing to see a first person shooter where one of like the three main color palette colors isn't brown, right? Like
Yes, oh
it's
my
like
god, yeah.
yeah, or even like the greens that they're choosing are like not the greens that you would typically see in this sort of thing. Like it's just
That Master
super.
Chief green.
Yeah, it's just I'm so sick of like military sim realistic shooters and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and it's like, God, it's nice to see something that is just they're going for it. You know, it might not
Yeah,
be for everyone, but they're sending it, and I think that's cool.
that's always been the hardest thing for me on games like The Division, which is something that I should really like. And first of all, like I don't typically like third person shooter combat, which is why Arc Raiders is something I kind of bounced off of after like
Hmm.
10 hours. But even more than that, it was just like I don't want to get a gold AK-47, mate. Like I just don't want to do it. Like it doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't make my heart happy to get like an M16 that has perks on it. Like I don't care. I don't. It doesn't do anything for me. But like having so much style and futurism to Destiny and Marathon is like the stuff that really makes me want to spend time in that world and invest in getting the cool things, and getting like the cool cores and the cool looking weapons. And I mean, you look at the trailer from or just the clip from a couple days ago, where I forget what it's called. I actually don't even know if we know the public name of it yet. But the railgun looking thing where like the slides goes back almost like a
Mhm.
crossbow
I
while
think
they're
we'll
aiming
know
down
that
and
from
shoots
the
everything.
original. We'll know that from the ARG, right, Jake? They had all the pixelated guns.
Yeah, it was in this trailer as well. Yeah,
Oh, was that
the
in this
railgun.
trailer?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it was
okay.
in that first opening
I've
section as
heard
well.
from a Reddit leak that's called the Zeus, and so if it's not called that, blame Paul Tassi for writing about the leak. I guess I don't know,
I'm
but it
yeah.
looks sick.
Yeah, don't come at us. Go get Paul.
It wasn't me. How would I know what it's? I
It was
would
Paul.
only
Paul did it.
know. I would only know what it's called if it was revealed in the original ARG, which I'm pretty confident it was because I think I know what it's called. So
Or if it was in the April playtest,
it
which
could
we
have
are
been
free
in
to
the
talk
April
about.
playtest. I don't really remember that either.
Yeah, but like that gun looks super cool and super unique, and it doesn't look like anything that you're gonna find in more of like those mil sim. I mean, it's more futuristic than even some of the classic like Halo C weapons, and so
Yeah,
to me that's always gonna be more interesting. Um, and I don't know, Marathon nails the style. So
yeah, yeah. Anything you'd like to say on this, Jake?
Yeah, I just think when you do something striking, yeah, you're going to capture a certain audience, and also it's going to be off-putting, to some people. But
oh
I think
yeah,
that's a cool thing, and I think a lot of people who I've met within the marathon community have been art people, like artists and graphic
Mm-hmm.
designers and concept people who kind of had the same thought that we're all thinking, where they saw this and they're like, "Wow, this is very inspiring. It's visually striking." The kind of work that Joseph Cross did initially to set the design language for this world seems very like an evolved version of all the other stuff. If you look back at like the concept art that he has on his art station and stuff, even the stuff that he did with Destiny for like the Deep Zone Crypt stuff, I think he had like some concept art that was pretty pivotal to that kind of stuff. I think I'm not a huge Destiny guy, so I might be off a little bit, but I think it's just such a evolution of an artist who's clearly, you know, getting at something that people really connect with. But yeah, obviously some people are going to look at it and say, a little Robloxy, a little Lego, and that's fine too,
It's just insane to me that you can. I don't like get back in the alpha. I got it, and with some of the guns, like very few of the guns, I still kind of get it. But now, if you were to take a random person off the street that happens to know what Roblox is, and you're like, does this look like Roblox? And you show them the updated graphics, which are incredible, they will laugh at you. Like I don't know. I don't know, man. The community just being silly, but
yeah.
really, and that actually kind of like that contrast and change kind of goes into the main topic that we wanted, or kind of like the capstone topic that we wanted to talk about today. Really is Marathon. It's going through an interesting shift in kind of the public eye, and at least in the echo chambers that the algorithms have deemed appropriate for me, it seems like it's shifting more positive in sentiment. And obviously, there's always going to be people underneath your tweets, um, calling you a shill or whatever. But I have to say, the number of death threats I'm getting has dropped precipitously, and that is incredibly impressive, especially because I ratioed Grums about Marathon like last week. I didn't get a single death threat. Grums, I dove
Not
into the
one?
hornet's nest and I didn't get stung, baby. So
Yeah, he's off his game.
yeah, yeah, I ratioed the hell out of him too. So the point being, obviously, it's still got a long way to go, but I do think it's worth reflecting on how crazy the last like almost year has been, 8 months has been for this game, and talking about
Yeah.
like what do we think that Bungie's been doing right, and what do they absolutely need to nail in these next 6 weeks to make sure that sentiment continues to improve and flip around and make sure this game finds success. So, Ryan, this seems like something you'd be really. This is right up your alley.
You can talk about stuff for a while. Yeah, I mean, like I mean, we talked about last week. Like we've all been marathon believers since the beginning, but there've been like dark times where I've been very much like, I don't know how into the current internet they're going to turn this around. Now, the beauty of the current internet is that also things shift very quickly.
Yeah.
And so it's in the same way that people forget stuff, or the same way that people like latch on to things like art raiders very quickly. People can forget just as easily.
Yeah.
The other element to that is like there's only once some damage is done, it sticks around. It can stick around like in the crevices forever. And like the art raiders thing is going to be there forever, and there's just misinformation about it and will exist forever. So it's like I don't know how they get past this, but I mean, you said something when you were introing this where it was like, there's a long way to go, and I'm
The
like,
don't snort the drinkable cheeseburger thing.
yeah, that I mean that stuck with me for sure.
Yeah. Good. Okay.
I mean, I know there's a video on Jake's channel that I'm still worried about. So,
Delicious.
like, go check that out. But to me, it's like you said, it's still got a long way to go, and I'm like, I don't actually know how long of a way it does have to go. Like, I think the sentiment is still like grim from certain people, but I think it was always going to be like this is a game that was designed, and at least in talking to them about it last year, like I, I mean, obviously they want it to be as big as possible, and they want it to be like a big market extraction shooter that everyone can come and play. But like they were targeting the hardcore market from the beginning. Like
Yeah.
that's what they wanted from the beginning. So like I've always wondered like what are the internal metrics for what success looks like for Marathon? Because like when I was talking to Joe Ziegler last year, he was like, yeah, we want the extraction fail rate to be 80-20 fail. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay. I mean, like that's in my experience in April, that's was not how I experienced my
Yeah.
exfil rate. But if that's what they were targeting, like they're targeting something that's intense, that's trying to bring in people. And like maybe there is a world where they thought that was going to be the most popular thing in the world, but I think that would be deeply unreasonable. In
Yeah.
that case, like we're looking at day one of this, it's hit number 5 on the global sellers list for Steam
I think it's
on the
top
day that
three
the pre-orders
right
come out.
now.
Did it hit top 3 at this point?
I
I think top
think
5
it
was the last
is.
place I saw it. And like, right. So what is success look like? Is like, I mean, this is a thing that I could talk about for forever because it drives me crazy when we talk about stuff like player numbers. Is like no one knows, those things don't matter if you don't know the internal metrics of like what a studio needs. You can extrapolate that like big number good, little number bad, but we don't know where Marathon needs to fall on the best sellers to become successful or whatever. But I think there is a world where Marathon doesn't even hit that top 10 mark, doesn't hit top 20, doesn't hit
Yeah.
anything close to that. I mean, like Chassis posted about it earlier on Monday when we were recording this about how like people want to be all Concord about it. But like Concord never even got remotely close to anywhere of like a respectable place on the top seller list. That doesn't mean that like everything's turned around and we're all good and that everything is is gravy, but like you can also go look at trailers, likes to dislikes, and positive comments under public facing things like that. Like I was talking about earlier with PlayStation, and whenever they post about it, or the Game Awards, whenever they post about it, like far fewer people are dooming about like the Concord 2.0 thing and or
Mhm.
3.0 as we talked about it being upgraded last week. That's way less common.
Hey, 1
And when
week
it is
until
there,
High Guard comes out, by the way.
yeah, yeah, that'll be. I'm sure, maybe we'll talk about that next week. But the the important thing is like what I'm seeing is it's not just people dogpiling onto that now. It's also people pushing back on it, people defending it. When they see misinformation about the art theft, people are responding to it and clapping back on it. And like, we're all guilty of it, but like just don't reply sometimes is fine. You don't have to correct everybody on the internet. You're never gonna win. But it means that people are passionate about the game and want it to succeed. Like when we see the negativity, the Destiny community is terrible. I could probably stop there and the statement would remain true, but the Destiny community is terrible specifically at praising Bungie when they do something right. And that's not me advocating for like tell the, you know, tell the company that got sold for multi-billions that they're doing a good job. That's not what it's about. People don't in the community tend to not realize that they are not only members of the community and like advocates for the game getting better, they're also like evangelists. When people look at like if a game is worth playing, they look at their community and see how their community is talking about the game in the given moment. So when Destiny fans fail to ever be happy about anything and get quiet when the game is good because they're busy playing it, it doesn't like the rest of the world does not think that Destiny is ever in a good spot because they only hear about it when people are yelling really
Mhm.
loudly. So when you see a community like Marathon start to kind of accumulate and start to care enough to come out of the woodwork to be like, hey, this looks good, or see people say stuff like, oh, well, I was a doomer and now I'm more curious, or something like that. I mean, that could all be bots, who knows? But it is indicative that something is shifting and things are turning. Not enough that you can be like, oh, well, this is going to be a huge hit. And even the top sellers thing is like, it needs a lot more than one good day of
Yeah.
sales. It needs a consistently large community. Who knows how big that is? Only Bungie knows. And then it needs consistently good word of mouth, which is what Arc Raiders got. We are only like in one small piece of that, but things are looking good and things have looked good consistently from like slowly but surely moving in a direction of, well, the leaks started happening from the playtests in the fall, and then the marathon subreddit went from dooming pretty hard to being cautiously optimistic about some stuff. And that's the place you would expect the most concentration of hopeful people to be.
Mhm.
And it's kind of radiated out from there as more and more of the game has been shown off. And
Yeah.
more people are getting that same shift from dooming to like, maybe this thing has potential. Who knows? It's hard to talk about because it's like, you don't want to sit there and be like, I think things are going to go great. I think things are going in a really good direction because it can be fumbled all very quickly and all very easily. So, like,
And we could just all be in echo chambers where it looks like
oh,
it's
yeah,
getting better and the public perception isn't actually, right? So it's
the thing that pushed against that is stuff like the like to dislike ratio
yeah.
on trailers now versus before. Like, there are things you can look at outside of like just your own algorithm to be like, what am I being shown comment wise? And also
Mhm.
just look like, what is the actual shift in the sentiment. And in that case, it's like things used to be people used to be a lot more quick to go and dislike everything that came out about Marathon. And now things are like, things are shifting. What I, to, to more move back in the direction of like, to finish here, because I really, I've been yapping for forever. Um, what I was saying earlier of you going like, I don't know actually how much further they have to really push it in terms of like realistically getting audience members back. Like I think they've done a really excellent job of reclaiming people who are curious. The thing that I do think is kind of on the precipice that they have work to do is to just make sure they don't fuck it up. Like we have 6 weeks. It's a short sprint here, but like people don't have patience for Bungie, period. And people are especially at the least have their hackles up about this thing. I think they're ready to love if it goes well and if the playtest weekend goes off nicely. But I think if Bungie stumbles in the next 6 weeks, people are going to be very harsh very quickly um, to point out those stumbles. There's not a lot of grace, I think, to be had. So that's more of the place that I would look at. It's less of like, are they going to can they do even more? Because I think if they keep doing what they're doing, they're succeeding, like almost inarguably. It's more of can they keep it up, and can they keep it up without stepping in it before?
Yeah.
That's the thing that I'm looking more closely at. And sorry it took me forever to say that.
No, you're good.
But that's the thing I'm looking at.
I think it's just important just to like say one thing that's just a little more concise is that a lot of people are acting like sorry, not that I didn't mean it to sound like that.
I know how I am.
You're good. It was good. It was a great talk, and it's all very true. I just like one extra point is that like I think a lot of people are acting like this either does better than ARC Raiders or it's a failure, and there's just not a world where that is an objective truth, right? Like
correct.
There are so many levels in between that are a financial success for both Bungie and Sony. And there is literally no way any serious business mark of this is doing better at baseline than ARC Raiders. That just doesn't exist. Like, let's get serious here, right? It could happen. It's who knows what the percentage is, less than 1% or whatever. But they are a much more hardcore game by nature. I know a lot of people are still saying that Bungie's trying to capture the casual crowd. That has been obviously not the case for like almost a year now. So those people are just not seriously tapped into anything. But remember, there's a lot of measures of success, and doing better than ARC Raiders is a fraction of maybe a fraction of one of them. So
I am both of the opinion that I think Marathon will be a success and that it will not do better than ARC Raiders. I think both of those I personally think both of those things are going to happen. So like I would be shocked beyond belief if this did better than the current metrics we have for ARC Raiders.
Yeah.
So like I also am a Marathon hopeful, and I think that's very much the likely case, and that doesn't bother me at all. And I very much doubt it bothers Bungie or Sony, and it certainly shouldn't.
Yeah. Jake, of the new round of marketing that we have started to get in the last like 2 or 3 weeks, or I guess December, like a month, what specifically can you point to that has renewed like your excitement for the game, and what do you think is like really responsible for this turnaround that we've seen?
Oh, listen, I'm a crazy person. All right. I started yapping about this game on YouTube for no shit 4 hours straight in like early, 2024 maybe or something. So like I'm literally I have no this is what I think it's honestly comes down to this. It's like but Destiny people and old head Bungie people, there's a portion of them and they already know whether or not they're going to play Marathon. Everybody who's like into the extraction space is going to try Marathon and probably enjoy some element of it. And most of the like regular dudes who are like, I just got off work, I'm going to play whatever game with my friends. They're not going to know about it until probably like the week or two before it launches. Oh, they're going to see a free weekend. And I think between all three of those groups of people, there's going to be enough for a sustainable audience that supports this game for a considerable amount of time. But I think there's in like you guys kind of talking a little bit about being like tapped into your echo chamber or something. I feel like there's a lot of people who aren't aware. They're not aware of like the controversy. They're not aware of like it getting delayed. They just don't even have an idea. And I can imagine like I think back in different points in my life. I'm a kid, or I'm bragging about my prestiges and stuff at the lunch table, and or I'm a young dude and I'm just playing with my homies and stuff. Like I'm not like having a lot of time to read gaming news. Like I'm basically kind of taking stuff as it comes, and like I'm excited for some stuff, but like I said, out of the groups of people who are aware of it, I think generally most of them know where they're going to fall in it. And yeah, like I said, I think across all those groups, I think there's going to be a good group of people that we can have fun hanging out with, getting murdered by, and killing and stealing their
Yeah.
stuff.
And I think assets like, I mean, so first off, the renewed emphasis on like Vidocs and like actual polished
Hmm.
reveal content that can go wider than just a dev
Yeah.
sitting on a couch. I think that's been a big part of it. And I mean, now,
Undoubtedly.
yeah, I hope because they moved away and then back to them for Destiny as well. And I hope the current iteration of Bungie's marketing team is just like, oh yeah, Vidocs actually work. So let's stay like that. And then I think like the game looking so fresh and refined right now visually, I think is catching a lot of people. Maybe a lot more surprising them in ways they didn't expect, especially in combination with. I mean, you have like a music, like a soundtrack that is very alien and weird, on top of like the visuals that are kind of fitting that same vibe but very polished. I think it's very easy to catch someone's attention very fast, and I think they've been doing a great job with all of that. So I
Yeah.
just like I think there's more there, and I hope to see them continue. Like I think right now they could easily build on hype, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't think anyone thinks they've hit the cap of the hype right now, and they should. I hope they have a bunch of assets loaded up because I think there's a lot more to do with this universe that could get people excited. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, if you want a good perspective on the people that don't know about Marathon, you should go watch Jake's ARC Raiders video where he interviews people about Marathon. It's great and will really surprise you how many people have just who play that game have no clue what
yeah,
else is going on.
well, especially because
My
so many of
wartime
those people
journalism.
they're new to the genre, right? So like,
Yeah.
why would they have ever paid attention before? And so now, like,
Oh.
I've said this for a number of months now. Like, Arc Raider success is effectively only a good thing for Marathon, right?
100%.
So-
Inarguable, I think.
Sorry, my cat's being indecent. She's cleaning herself. Yeah, that's I think that's great, and I don't know. I'm excited to see more people get eyes on it because I think for actually like a thing that might have been a negative before is like it definitely almost certainly was a negative. So many like so large of a percentage of the eyes on Marathon were just Destiny fans, right? And I think as we start to shift into less and less of the audience being Destiny fans, I think that is a great thing for Marathon. And you know,
Yeah,
I'm
mean,
excited for that.
That was part of the catastrophe. Is like one of the first big moments where they're trying to be like, hey, we're trying to get out of now is the summer of marketing. We're trying to get out of just the Destiny bubble. Was
Yeah,
the April playtest that did not go well, and then the art scandal and like everything, like their big moment of getting away from just being Bungie as the people that made Destiny for the past 10 years was their like big burning blimp moment. So
yeah,
like they have to rebuild that stuff, but like yeah, there's a bunch of people that still didn't hear about it. So
yeah. All right. Well, I hope they can keep it up. I'm excited to see what they cook up every week. Assuming it is every week. I mean, who knows? But I can't imagine, especially with Bungie's track record. Like once they start marketing stuff, they don't really stop marketing stuff.
Yeah.
So
you don't have time for them to stop. Like,
yeah. So more
they announced the
ARG
release date
stuff.
6 weeks
more
before launch.
Yeah. So
Gas
we'll see.
pedal.
All right. Let's move into the marathon minute for this this video, Ryan. What for those who missed episode 1, Ryan is going to ask Jake to very quickly explain a marathon topic. He will have 1 minute. I'm getting the timer ready, and Ryan, you can go ahead and start explaining.
Very well.
Yeah, so this last week we did Durandal. We did something that was completely like large to the world and unrelated to the topic we were talking about. We've already talked a little bit this week because they featured very heavily in the trailer, and we've mentioned them a couple times. But like, it's the type of thing that like Destiny players think started with Destiny, but the OG marathons know that MIDA, the terrorist organization ruling Tau Ceti from the shadows, or attempting to, is has been around for a long time. So tell us everything that people need to know. Educate the Destiny people out there about the multi-tool and the mini-tool. About
I think
what
they
MIDA is.
Oh, yeah.
I think they prefer like a rebel group than a terrorist
I
organization.
I sympathize with Midas.
No, wait, don't say that. Don't say that.
Like, come
Wait,
on,
you
man,
didn't
but,
say
like, like,
it.
you're gonna get us. The UESC are listening, brother.
He thinks
They're
they could have handled
terrorists.
Mars better. Everyone listening, they could have handled Mars better. Okay?
Yeah.
He believes that. Say you believe that, Ryan. All right, sorry,
Okay.
Jake, and
Mida.
go.
Okay, let me set the scene here. It's the 25th century, the 2400s. Humanity has expanded to Mars, which is fantastic, but the people there, they can't grow food in this red, horrible soil. So we have to send resources from Earth to Mars. But oh, whoopsie, the Christ soul orbiters, how we get stuff there, not very good. And every time we got to fix them, it's going to take the entire Earth like shipbuilding factory out of service for 15 years. That leads to starvation, poverty on Mars. Oh, and hey, by the way, we're stealing your moon. We're going to turn it into a colony ship, and we don't care about you. Cut to January 6, 2442. Another January 6th that wasn't so great. Okay, we're at a food bank in Mizraya, and all of a sudden, 3 people pull out guns. They're terrorists. They're going to fight back against UESC. UESC responds to the Randall Hover takes. 500 women and children starving. They're all dead. Oh my God, it's horrible on Mars. Oh, the third Martian war breaks out. Everyone's dying. The coup's pulled back. The marathon launches. But alas, they remain. And what are they up to today? Still fighting for the rights of the Martian people who have suffered far too much. 1 minute. Thank you.
I need to listen to that back again because I stopped listening after you said it was January 6th in the lore. I know Bungie gets a lot of Nostradamus shit, but that's wild.
Yeah, The Simpsons did not do January 6th first. It was Bungie. It was Greg Kirkpatrick, Jason Jones in the 90s. So you can thank them for that one.
Yeah, you heard it here first. Bungie did January 6th. So that's what Jake said. That's
that's the title of the episode. Bungie did.
I'm not titling it that, dude.
Right here, right below.
I'm not titling that. But yeah, so Midas just they're freaking out. Do we know if they have any actual because like it's highly I think it's been soft confirmed through Destiny that like Bernard Strauss was a Mida operative. Do we have any confirmation or indication that there are actual like Mida representatives on Tau Ceti, or are they operating through us exclusively?
Yes, Mida are absolutely on Tau Ceti, at least in the form of Gantry, who's directly contracting people to work for him. Is that faster than light comms back to Earth? Are these people in orbit of Tau Ceti? I think we're going to figure out when the game comes out.
Yeah,
they definitely have influence. They're definitely highly sophisticated. Most likely Bernard Strauss was a Mida member. With the Mida mini tool lore entry, the kind of big question is this the timeline? Is this the reality that they're going with for this version of Marathon? Is that something that's consistent? I know the 9 are kind of up to some craziness and they kind of bounce around realities perhaps or shape the future or something. So perhaps bringing something in from this alternate timeline or something, maybe that's not what they're going with. Although I do think to canonize some of that stuff, kind of drawing this connection between the properties in a more direct way would be very cool to see. And Bernard Strauss, obviously kind of number one Mida homie probably. So most likely. I mean, I'm not going to accuse him of anything. As working for the US, I don't want to get him hemmed up at his job or whatever, but I'm thinking he may have sympathized. I didn't say
big.
That.
I think he's big dead. I thought that was a thing.
Durandal says he's dead. He goes, "Oh, Bernard died there. I wish I could have got to him, but I don't know if that guy knows."
Okay, but it could be a retcon anyway, so whatever.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, so I think that's actually interesting, and that's something I'm really looking forward to seeing in Marathon, especially now that the community has latched on to these factions so hard. Like, really, most of the representation, if not all of the representation we've seen from these factions are through their AI, and I'm really curious what the physical forms of that on Tau Ceti takes, because I think there's a lot of opportunities to start to like get some world building going through not a contract screen, right? So we'll see. Yeah,
absolutely.
Anything else, fellas?
Marathon
I think that's marathon.
coming soon.
Martin,
45
6
days.
weeks. Yeah,
All right,
Jesus.
Yeah. 46 weeks? 45 days.
40 Hopefully not 46 weeks.
46 weeks. Delay incoming again. Get rid of
No,
your first.
no.
Skarrow.
45
Insider information.
45 days, I think. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, thanks for joining for episode 2. This
Absolutely.
was some good stuff. Remember, even if you watched on YouTube, make sure you hop over through the links in the pinned comment and you leave a 5-star review on your platform of choice. That would be sick. Yeah, thank you everyone. We'll see you next week, and Escape will make us pod.